I'll also, I kind of paused because we were chit-chatting. So, hi everyone. I'll just give essay introduction because people might have already know somebody here. So it's okay if you guys join later on. You can find it in the recording. So, SIA is a Mossy Ventures sub company in Europe. It's called Startup Investor Accelerator, but the main is Mossy Ventures. It's based out of US. And John and Martha, they co-founded it in like 18, 20 years ago, if I remember correctly. And they organize uh, startup investment cohorts like every year. I think it still happens in Seattle, two cohorts. Similarly, we also do in Europe. So I help them in Europe region, mostly focused in I live in UK and focused in European investments. So we bring in 20 to 30 investors in every cohort, and we go through I don't know, sometimes 50 to 60 startups, and in the end, one of the startup would get the check. So that's how it goes. The cohorts.
Okay, that's great. Uh, would anyone from the audience want to go and introduce themselves so that I just understand? I think it's a small group, right? I can't see how many people have joined.
We have 8 people around now, and people are still joining in. So we're gonna keep it open for a couple of more minutes.
Yeah.
Two more.
I can go. Yeah. So my name is Jason Shea. I'm Phoenix. I'm located in Phoenix. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I currently run three different businesses. I have a toy design and manufacturing company. We design toys for kids with special needs. I also run a digital marketing company that specializes in helping other toys and game brands with digital marketing. Currently manage about 30 different brands, about 1,000 products. I have 20 full-time employees currently, and I also own a small SaaS company. We do SaaS digital marketing software for toys and game brands. So I'm pretty much the toy guy. So, yeah.
Well done. I like it. Anyone else wants to take the opportunity because we got 1 more minute?
Mm, I think Leela.
Yeah, hi, I can share a bit. Currently based in Latvia and opening a new early stage company around sleep and dreaming. So we are connecting wearables with dreaming interpretations and other products. So curious
Very,
to hear more.
yeah, it's very fascinating. This is what I love about the startup space. Like
Mm.
everyone is so unique. They come with their dreams, aspirations. Is it a good time to start, Rohini?
Yes, please go ahead. I was supposed to give your intro, but you already started, so please go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna share the slides better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just put this in a presentation mode. So yeah, well, guys, my name is Umesh, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It certainly helps me build what is the most important thing in this modern era, which is relationships with you. So my background, I'm a chartered accountant based in London, and I've earned my CFA charter 2 years back, and I've got a master's in analytics. In my past, I've worked in PricewaterhouseCoopers and Meta for 13 years, and I don't know what happened over the past 2 years. I just decided I'll go on this journey of entrepreneurship. And I think the biggest opportunity which I saw with AI while working with Meta, because we started using Llama models back in 2021. So I could clearly see the potential, I could clearly see the threat, I could see the fear, and I could imagine what kind of future we might hold if this technology goes out in the market. So that certainly has triggered me. It made me more proactive in designing my own life. And you know what is happening in the modern era. We see we have Claude, which is so powerful. They are going for an IPO. It's a private company which started maybe 2-3 years back, and today they are aiming for a valuation of $1 trillion. So to give a perspective of what is $1 trillion, that is approximately 25% of the entire Indian GDP. It is approximately 5% of an entire US GDP. And if you see, it is pretty much 10%, close to 7% of an entire European GDP. And you can imagine how a private company has changed this landscape. And there comes another like ChatGPT, which started the entire revolution. And certainly the biggest observation in this modern society we are seeing is relationships are changing, and they are changing really, really fast. Our relationship with finances, our team members, our boss, our colleagues, even our life partners, our kids, everything is changing in this modern era. And to question my own consciousness, like I ask myself, like, okay, now if everything is being programmed, then what is the last human advantage which we have? And I'm very keen on analysis of financial statements, because I know where money goes is where investors believe is there is a growth, right? So there are two. Before even I start about like I'm sure like a lot of people already on the call are using Claude. They know the capabilities, but I want to focus this conversation around the investments which are happening, the opportunities, and how the relationships are interplaying with this investments and opportunities, and how you can leverage your relationships to benefit in the future. Now, in short, what is happening in the markets right now is, over the past 2-3 years, everyone was focused on compute, compute. They just wanted that analytical framework, and they started creating data centers. That's fine. But then came a bottleneck where they started realizing compute is fine, but memory is more important. And if you see the companies which have touched $1 trillion, massive, like for example Micron Technologies, they went from $500 billion to $1 trillion in less than 2 months. Like they multiplied 28x in 1 year. Can you just believe that 28x in 1 year? That's more than a startup multiplies, right? So now after Nvidia, all these big companies, now businesses are revolving around memory. So they have gone beyond compute, and they have started like capturing investments in the memory segment. And how this memory segments relates to relationships, that is something which you have to understand. And this is probably, I think, is your advantage. In short, your memory, your consciousness will really take you long when you want to invest in someone, or if you are a startup yourself and you're like liaising with investors, or maybe if you want to just go and meet a client, who is probably the most important element of the entire business model. So we know AI has almost learned everything, and now they are coming after the memories. Go and open the financial statements of a company called ASML, which technically prints memory on silicon. Like it creates circuits on silicon, packs them up over like in a layer, or layer by layer by layer, and creates a memory stack. And this memory stack is nothing but the tissues which we have in our brain, right? So this is one example. Micron Technologies is another example. So in short, AI will do everything over the next 2-3 years. Approximately $2 trillion worth of investments are going into it. They have already mastered the compute. They are coming after the memory. And the question is, what are we really left with after that? So in my opinion, one thing which AI can never replace is our ability to build relationship and trust. That is something which cannot be replaced, and I'll give you a few examples. There was a time when your flashy PowerPoint presentations were very meaningful to investors. On an average, they used to get 200 emails every day. One investor might be getting like 200 emails. But in this time, they are getting approximately 5,000 to 6,000 emails. So people are like just typing their business plan in Claude, creating a presentation, and shooting out to the investors. Now, you tell me, in these times when the compute is so high, data is so high, someone is coming after memory, investors are being feeded like 6,000 slides, whom will they really trust? It's an open question. And this is something which you have to focus in your entrepreneurial journey when you're liaising with clients or your business partners or investors. These are the three main components. Whom do you really trust? That is a bigger question. And how do you trust? How do you maintain that relationship? Well, um, so investors now are more than happy to have like a 20 minutes coffee rather than see a slide deck or maybe go through a business plan in detail, which will come later. For example, I went to meet a very influential figure last month. They hold approximately 93,000 CR, which is a portfolio of $1 billion in their accounts. And when I went to meet her, the first thing she said was like, "Don't open your laptop." Because I went thinking that she's such a busy person, like I can't waste like 40-45 minutes of her. And I prepared myself in so precisely that okay, I'll show this 5 minutes, this 5 minutes, this 5 minutes. And then she offered, like she said, "No, I don't want you to open your laptop, just talk to me, that's it." So, and this hasn't happened with me once. This has happened with me many times, even when like I have met a billionaire who invited me and I was so nervous. But what he wanted to see was only my grit, only my confidence. That's it. Like, and so here is a cue for you that do not panic, do not try to, uh, do not try to like oversell yourself with data which can be produced by an AI, right? So being vulnerable and just having a normal conversation and laying out your true self, whether they may like you, they may not like you, just laying out your true self is probably one of the biggest advantage you might have in this era where there's so much of competition around capital, there's so much of competition around job markets. So you being yourself is something which no one can take away from you. So that is the number one advice. So when AI can do everything, LPs are like flooded with data, your network and the way you liaise and build that relationship is probably one attribute which everyone will have your attention on. So I'm gonna make it little lighter. I've just given like 10 slides, maybe 8 slides, 9 slides, but I think um, we should wrap in short. We should wrap shortly, and I would like to hear more about your point of view because when we are building a company, the most important thing is you have to build a company on questions. This is not something which I say now, this is something which Google was built on. So when Google was built, the first co-founder, he was like, we are so successful because we have built this company on questions. So in this era, your ability to question, your ability to analytically understand and decipher what is hidden and question it is probably more valuable, and which will always remain valuable, because even if you're given with the best Claude subscription, at the end of the day, your ability to question is the most important thing. And why I say that? So uh, human connections, they will become more valuable. We see a lot of like free decks flying everywhere, uh, and in these times, your belief, your conviction, your trust, your judgment, and the way you introduce yourself is a new commodity. That is something which is booming right now. Earlier there was earlier there was a time where videos, lot of artificial, like, a lot of content was having more impact. But right now, I think your body language, your ability to present yourself will certainly stand out in these modern times, because AI will do everything. So yes, so pitch decks are free. We got a lot of apps that can be built in like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, at least like basic apps. I do value the work engineers, even in my team. I really value and respect them, because uh, building an app via AI is one thing. However, and of course, it is getting easier, like because, and it will get much easier. But creating an integrated app and connecting them to create a value for client, that is critical in this modern times. So this is for founders, and investors. I think this is something which investors might be thinking, like, what is the replacement cost of the entire app? So again, they are devaluing the work of someone's team or someone's dream or someone's effort. But in short, yes, they can really replicate something really fast in this modern time. So as a founder, if you're creating a SaaS or creating a fintech, you're very vulnerable to expose your idea to someone. But however, what is more important than being vulnerable? Your perseverance, like your stickiness, your ability to stick to one idea for so long that everyone else in the race will give up. That is really scare, and that is something is a true value in this modern time. And final point I have is, relationships are premium, guys. Like, do not ignore like relationships. Remember names, like, please smile. I think it's one of the most beautiful virtue when you go out networking. And I've seen a lot of, when I, like, at least I meet 50 to 60 people every week. I'm saying face to face, not like this is probably one such time when I'm taking a call. But this time, most of the days, I'm outside, maybe in a bar or maybe in a networking event. On an average, I meet 50 to 60 people. And one of the exercise I do is I try to note down their name. I remember what they do, and I always try to connect back, regardless of what might happen in the future, or what might not happen in the future. If there is a synergy, if there is no synergy, doesn't make difference. I think remembering name, remembering their story, valuing their achievements is certainly a very good milestone, a cornerstone for building a relationship that compounds over the time. So let's jump to the three changes, the three core pillars. And you have to tell me there's one thing missing here. And probably I'll let you judge after the call. But here I'm capturing, like, relationship is all about team capital and how much clarity you have within your own self. And team, of course, um, build a team which is synergistic, like you have trust on each other. uh, there is there is an element of valuing each other's work periodically, and you're sticking with each other in good and bad times. And this is something which AI cannot do, because, for example, if there are like 4 members in my team and we have a problem, 4 members can ask the same question to Claude, and it might get 4 different answers, right? But someone who is an engineer he's in a better position to fix this problem than someone who is a financial analyst, right? And if the problem is around financial analysis or something to do with finance, then the finance guy is more suitable than engineer or maybe a marketing guy, right? So uh, building that team in the long run really pays off. It may be painful in the short term, yes, of course. uh, well, that's what the team is about, right? Like no team, like if everything was so smooth, then technically then it's like a consulting engagement. It's not a team. Like it builds over time, sometimes 1 2 3 years, and then you start seeing a big shift. And I'll give you try to remember this example. 2020, Elon Musk worth was close to $100 billion. Like, and he's almost in 5 years, he is 10x, almost like he's about to be a trillionaire. And most of the people have said in media that Elon, like, he's not that intelligent, but he has really built a team. He's built a team on whom he can trust. He's built a team who can fly rockets and land rockets. He has built a team who can charge batteries in a car much faster. And it is that journey, because there was a time when no one wants to work with him. He was literally crying in the front of camera, where he was saying that I want the best engineers, but best engineers don't want to work with me. So what I have to do is I only have to hire an average engineer to create my SpaceX. And today SpaceX is going for what, like $1.8 trillion. So there is certainly uh, a great meaning to building a team, and sometimes you just can't see it. Like you meet a people, and you meet someone, and you might not be able to understand why I met him. Like he's completely out of my circle or interest. You met him, but you never know, because his skill set might be able to complement your skill set, right? So work on the team. The next is capital. Guys, this is capital, is probably capital, liquidity. These are extremely important points when someone is raising funds or someone is investing. And so money is something which can really make or break relationships much faster, right? And we have seen over many times. And one thing you have to be very clear when you're exchanging money or exchanging time is, most of the people, they have this perception of risk, and they have this perception of return, but they don't have a perception of risk. Give you an example, like what is happening in the present market. Like everyone is being sold a return story on AI. Like invest in Nvidia. It will give you like 30% return annually. Or maybe invest in this semiconductor company. It will give you like maybe 5x in 5 years. So we are habitually trained as human beings to see the return. Like that's how everyone is trained. But only people who are trained in finance, they are someone who can see the risk, right? So when you are looking at any structure, understand it's not just about a return. There always has to be a risk associated with it, and communicate that risk with your investor, your business partner, or your employees, that this is the risk we have. Because most of the times we are trained to forget risk. And this is also one reason a lot of people don't go on entrepreneurship, because they don't understand risk. And people are afraid to take that risk, and that's the reason they don't want to start their own business. And that's the reason entrepreneurs would be like among 1%. And all the multimillionaires and billionaires are entrepreneurs. Like there are very few instances where someone was working in a job, they got uh, without equity, they became a millionaire. Maybe like Nvidia, or like with few stocks, they got millionaire. Very rare cases. So uh, I know there are people from many backgrounds here, but I just want to focus that your story of capital, your story of return and risk, all has to align in this age of AI so that you can have that healthy relationship. And this relationship can be with all the three dimensions. It can be like with investors, your own shareholders. It can be with your employees, and even with yourself. And that is the third point. So understanding your own risk, getting that clarity that how many punches you can take as an entrepreneur, and how when do you want to break, and when do you want to stand up again and go back into the ring. So this is all a self clarity, like this is a relationship which you have to build with yourself. Of course you have to be tough, you have to be harsh on yourself, but not so harsh that it can damage you forever, right? So you are so like we know as founders like how difficult that journey can be, and I'll explain you about what we have built and why we are building it at the end of the presentation, so that you understand like why I'm saying this. Because first 1 2 3 years are of course very difficult, because you're trying to prove a product, you're trying to get a product market fit, you're taking the product, there's this some you have to deliver it, there you have to distribute it much faster, and it will make you realize a lot of things about you. Like personally, I've realized a lot of my own weaknesses in the past 2 years, which I never realized in 13 14 15 years in the past. So I've realized I'm strong, I realized I'm very weak, I've realized I'm very adaptable. So it's a very deep journey which will give you a lot of clarity. And if you have clarity with yourself, you will be in a better position to raise funds with investors. I bet you, like if you know yourself and you're able to communicate that with anyone who is showing interest, or anyone who wants to work with you as a client, or someone who wants to join as a team, then I think that self awareness is the center point for building every relationship. Because if you don't understand who you are, then you can never be yourself, and you can never be the same person in front of three different stakeholders. So like that is something which I would really work on. So here it is, like what AI excels at. We got speed, we got scale, it can recall things much faster, it can decipher the patterns, it can optimize a lot of coding. uh, there is synthesis, is like, for example, if there is any strategies derivation, it can do it much faster. But what we excel at right now, at least right now, I'm not sure about the future, if they create a memory chip which is like, which is much better than my memory which God has given me, probably, I'm doomed then. But right now I would say we are very good in having a presence of mind. We are good in understanding, we are much better in understanding patterns. Like, at least I would say a lot of human beings are very good in understanding patterns. We can forgive for sure. uh, I've personally realized from many years uh, I've got some issues with forgiveness, but I've started working on it, and slowly it's getting better. So I'm just being vulnerable here, like, okay, I've got this issue, and I'm a human, right? So I'm not a Claude or Chat GPT, and that's the reason I'm talking here, and that's the reason probably which will keep you engaged with me. Now, how do you make a meaning of things? Trust. Always ask yourself, what is trust? How do you make it better? Be more transparent. uh, share as much details as possible with your team and investors, and share the risk, not just like hype stories. Okay, when you feel bad, or maybe like, there is a risk, I see it might fail, or so you manage those expectations. And most of the successful businesses have been like that. Like, they don't say like one story to investor and the other story to someone internal. But over a period of time, and of course they'll make a lot of losses. Like, I've lost a lot of good deals because of being I think honesty is not a best policy, I at least in my early career I've realized. But then I've lost good deals. However, but that does make you feel proud about yourself, that okay, like at least I was not dishonest with him. I was honest and I lost the deal. That's fine. But then 4, 5, 7 years later, that same individual will come and talk to you, or maybe like who wants to work with you. That is true. Like I've seen that in life, because then they realized, okay, maybe like he was so direct, he was bit what do you say? It was, he did not sugarcoat the thing, which I thought was disrespectful, but at least there was some element of truth in it which I could not digest, right? So at this point, maybe it didn't work out, but always always end relationship even if there is a disagreement, saying that okay, like there was a disagreement, this is what I stand for, this is what you stand for. If it is not working out, that's fine. Be it with investors or anyone internal or even in your personal life, because that is what we are very good at, right? We are not like for the same event we'll give like a Claude gives three different responses. We should not be like that. I think that is our superpower right now. Vulnerability, yes. If more self-aware you become, you can understand your role vulnerabilities, and people with whom you trust, you can share that, and then you can improve. And I think that is where the first point comes. Like if you are more aware of yourself, then you can build a much stronger team, you can build much stronger relationship with investors. So I'll try to end as fast as possible now, because we'll leave like 20 minutes for some form of brainstorming, question and answers. So yeah, so in private capital especially, like of course, like AI has certainly raised the bar for trust. Like everyone wants to know the person first in this era, because rest of the things can be done by AI. It can create pitches, it can do diligence, give, like just connect your database to some auditing tool, it will perform an entire analytical thing. uh, but in the end of the day, if you see, we need people to back them and sign them. I was at an event, I wouldn't name the company, but they are one of the world's most reputed valuation companies. Now in this time, valuations can be performed completely by AI. Now I asked this managing director, like, is your business impacted? And he was like, no. And I was like, how is it possible? Like, because whatever you're doing, I can do the same in Claude. And his response was, when we go with the valuation report to investors or maybe regulators, we provide credibility, we provide clarity, we provide confidence, and that is what we are billing for. It is a very strong word. He told, like, credibility, clarity, and confidence. So these regulators, these investors, they would not believe a valuation which is coming from the most sophisticated LLM, but rather they are putting that uh, responsibility, that trust on a human being, saying that okay, you might have used Claude, but now sign it and say that this is what you stand for, and only then we'll make the deal. So it's a strong example. uh, try to correlate the same thing with whatever you're doing in your business. Okay, now co-pilots are everywhere. I know, like, a lot of founders are very lonely. I've sensed that, because more than investors and more than uh, engineers, I do talk to a lot of founders. I've got a lot of friends who are founders. They, because of the current macroeconomic circumstances, they left their job, or maybe they were redundant. Now they don't want to go back, because even if they go back, there is a huge risk. Again, they might be getting laid off. So they took this bold move that to start their own business. And of course, they have a lot of dreams which they didn't want to suppress. And there is clearly an opportunity where uh, even if I'm saying that AI is eroding the trust and we have to maintain that trust, like AI can be a blessing for us all. Like, it is true. Like, I, as a standalone person, would not be able to stand without AI, right? So I have a team of two. There are two engineers. There's one myself, but we leverage AI in and out, and there is no hiding about it. Like, we have to leverage AI, and the whole idea is, just think, like, you have this one laptop, one device, and it can do anything. It can provide you that infinite intelligence. So when I say infinite intelligence, technically you have infinite data right now. Infinite. I've seen a chartered accountant in London's Account-X Expo. He was coding and creating an accounting app. So he told me that he's a software engineer. And later during the conversation, he told he's a chartered accountant, right? So this CA is trying to be a software engineer, right? And I saw another instance where a software engineer is going and doing VAT filing. I couldn't believe it, because how can an engineer go and do VAT calculations? And there are so many instances. I've known one employee who used Claude as a legal advisor and went and sued her employer, and she won the case. So in this era of infinite knowledge, I wouldn't say infinite intelligence, because the definition of intelligence is application, according to me. But I would say, in this era of infinite knowledge, we are still becoming lonely, but treat it as an opportunity. It is not a bad loneliness. It is a loneliness which is filled with dreams and opportunities. Of course, like, it is lonely, but it is filled with dreams and opportunities. So uh, believe in what you're doing. Try to fight as much, as fast as possible, as far as possible. Keep building. Try to understand your customer, which is the most important thing. And this is what was missing actually in this slide, where team, capital, self, but there is the most important element, which is customer, right? So your relationship with your customers is also extremely important in this era. Your body language, the way you talk, the way you respect them, the way you uh, disagree with them, uh, and you have to be yourself. You have to believe in what you're building, and everything will start falling in place. And I'll end this with just one point, that sometimes, uh, to see that change, you might have to wait for some, maybe like few months or 1 or 2 years. But when the change happens, it is something which is beyond the rate at which that thing is changing, is something which you'll not be prepared at. And that is truly, I believe. Take many examples. Like, if you see net worth of a lot of high net worth individuals, they were technically very flat for first 3 4 5 years, but then there's like this sudden jump. And uh, that is the impact of compounding. And compound your don't just compound your money, compound your time. And how can you compound your time is only by leveraging and establishing positive relationships in this time where everything is infinite knowledge. So I'll stop here. We are almost 7:40, so there's 20 minutes where we can engage with each other, build relationship. And I'll go on mute and you start talking, guys.
Okay. Thank you so much, Umesh. So I'll start first because I have so much kind of making notes to talk, because I was able to relate to so many points you brought in. The first thing is, at Mossy Ventures, I kind of organize the back end of events and stuff, a lot of other stuff. So when I got the title, the human advantage, I was like, usually I make it like a question, like the title of it. Basically, I work around the title as well. But this title, I intentionally kept it as vague. It's like end of 2020, the movie. It was reminding like that. So yes, in the AI era, like a lot of things are happening, and how would our community would look at it, how would they see this change, or what is their interest, what made them to join? So that would be something interesting for me to listen from the audience, like what made them join today's session. That's one thing. And second is, I was making a point about the loneliness filled with dreams and opportunities. That I think I hear a lot in our founders groups is that yes, there are times I felt lonely, including me, but are also excited at the same time because we are trying something new. We are out of our comfort zone, and we are very passionate about what we are building. I see that in like at least 80% of founders who come into our investor rooms, and they are very passionate about what they're building. It might be the same idea I keep hearing from others, and there are competitors. There are like, you can even think, oh, this is nothing new. But when you hear it from their voice and the passion level of it, that shows why they are doing it. So those are the points I took from the session, I would say. Anyone else want to go? I think Jason, yes.
I agree on the human connection aspect. Obviously, AI can do all the other piece, but that's actually the same thing I say to my employees because we're actually doing a heavy AI rollout right now. We're in the team. We finished building the AI OS and all that. But one of the biggest pushback I always get from my employees like, oh, am I going to lose my job? It's like, is AI going to take my job? What I always like to share with them is, well, the AI is not taking your job, but the people that can know and do AI better than you will take your job if you don't keep up with the changes. So I do agree with the speakers today that talking about the importance of making the human connection. That is kind of our the title of today's webinar, the last human advantage that we still have left. But I think we can definitely use AI to automate and augment everything else. But how can we still create that human connection for the industry we're a part of? That's why I'm still going to a lot of in-person event. I'm going to another one this weekend, actually. So otherwise, just having Zoom meeting is just different than shaking people and looking at people's eyes in front of them. So
Yeah, I literally wrote an article post about this. Like Mark Cuban's post was like saying that AI is gonna make in-person events more active, but in reality, humans are attracted to in-person conversations. They connect better. They try to relate more when we talk in person than Zoom. I mean, I take a lot of meetings Zoom nowadays, but still I prefer in-person meetings and having that real conversations than just talking about the top layer.
Yeah, and I think one point I would say sometimes you might meet someone probably completely out of your profession. Like, don't strike a conversation. Like, don't hesitate. You never know what happens 4 or 5 years down the line. I've mentioned this in and come on the AI jobs thing. Uh, I have a question actually. Like a lot of people in the media are saying that the jobs are not being lost because of AI. But tell me, like, how what difference does it make if you're losing a job with AI software because of AI software or AI hardware? You know, like Meta laid off 8,000 people, and the reason was they invested so much in capex that they wanted to preserve their cash flow. So, despite someone like Zuckerberg can come and say that, oh, we are not laying off people because of AI, but the change is here. Like, and humans have the only advantage of stronger relationship, and we have to find more ways to connect with each other and build that trust. Just find more ways, and these things will evolve and these things will change much faster over a period of time. And yeah, Leela, what do you think?
Well, first of all, thank you so much. Really inspiring talk, and I'm having kind of understanding around that, and I'm trying to all of this last let's say 2-3 years. I'm trying to kind of like send my ray of light into the future and really see what will happen in 5, 10 years, and also in the last 2 years already been feeling the big shift in all of the areas that we are kind of seeing. And what you say here is a lot about this connection community. I feel like this is kind of like maybe the biggest challenge that I perceive, and this is why I'm going into the research of dream and the collective subconscious, and this is something that I'm really curious about. I feel like maybe if I'm looking for like a question for you or for us for this Zoom meeting is where will be like the greatest potential, let's say, to genuinely improve our world as human beings. You know, where is the, if AI is will slowly become even better and better in what it is doing, um what us as human being can really do now to improve the next 5 to 10 years, you know.
That's a big philosophical question. Umesh, you want to take it?
Well, yeah, it's a bit philosophical question. I really don't know the answer to it. Like, it can differ person to person. 5 to 10 years, right? Uh, okay, I'll answer philosophically for you. Okay, because
Right.
you gave me a. Uh, when I was 16. I used to think the same. Like, what will happen in next 10, 20 years, right? Today I'm 33, close 33, 34. And one of the things which I made some changes in life was I've completely disassociated myself with the past. Like, my past success, my past failure doesn't matter right now because times have completely changed. Like, it really doesn't matter what I achieved, what I lost, what I failed, where I fall. It really doesn't matter. Now the thing is, from here on, what habits, structural habits, which I can create over the next 10, 20 years. So when I am 53, I'm proud of the journey which I have taken from 33 to 53. And that time I'll think from 53 to 73, if I'm alive, I have to probably plan like how will I go.
Mm.
But yeah, I think just forget about the past because we are living in very new times. Like, what you have
Yeah.
achieved in the past is useless. Like, what you have, I wouldn't say useless, it's not a right word, but it's not impactful anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what will I do? Like, I'm a CA CFA, that's my past success. Now tell me, how will that shape my future? I have to start something with new habits, right? So what I've achieved, I cannot rest on them. So just try to detach yourself from, like, just live one day by day to the best of your ability and detach yourself with every failure and success. And another thing is, don't try to get into too much of definition of success and failure. Like, measure your success with the number of rejections. When you are a founder, uh,
Mm.
like, how many rejections I got this day? Like, I got 60 rejections. Okay, I should get 70 rejections tomorrow. You know? So, I think that way you're improving your chances. But like, I make a lot of content, and technically, when I started making content on the streets in London, I used to like tremble in fear. Like, now I'm a good confident speaker. I can speak anywhere on this earth without fear. But there was a time when I used to shoot on the streets in London, and I used to tremble. I used to like shoot for half a day, and I used to get no likes, no views. You know? So my only thing was, okay, maybe today I got rejected. I'll do much better tomorrow. So that kept pushing me. And
Mhm.
today I just get invited, like, at least to speak at few events about few financial statements, or they see me as a financial expert today. So in short, what I'm saying is, forget about the past, live in the present. Your presence of mind today is extremely important. The subconscious training is important, and look forward, like be futuristic, because times have changed. Last 20 years were different. Last 2 years are completely different. So
Wow.
what happened in 20 years has already happened in past 2 years, and still people are like in shock, like what is happening? Okay, who else we have got on the call? I want to know everyone
Thank
actually.
you.
Oh, okay. I have got a friend of mine, Vikas, and this gentleman is interesting. He's an AI specialist, and
Mhm.
I would love to hear his thoughts. Vikas, do you want to talk?
I think he was joking in the chat then. I read, like, I don't know about AI he mentioned, and then I saw his Barclays AI. I was like, what is happening, man? I have to talk to him separately. Okay, Vika, we have to hear about it.
Yeah, no, thanks, Rohini, for a good session, a great session actually. And Umesh, thanks as well. Very, very different side of you I've seen today. So, what did you want to know about AI?
No, I first, what do you think, Vikas? Like, how should relationships evolve? Because you have done so. Everyone like Vikas is he has done a course from Oxford, so he has a good grip of Gemini. So,
Someone,
how
sorry,
how
someone
should
else is
relationships evolve in this era, Vikas?
So, yeah, I actually teach at Oxford as well, AI. After my course, I got invitation to teach at Oxford. Um, so maybe I'm not the right person to talk about relationships because I normally avoid people as much as much as I can. But whatever you said in the call is absolutely right. AI cannot replace relationship in its true format. The touch, the smell, the feel. It cannot work on those five senses. There's a very interesting theory during the Industrial Revolution in 1920s. A lot of manual labor were taken by machines. So factory mode, a lot of clothing and a lot of manufacturing was taken by machines. So human only has two things to contribute to the world. One is physical contribution, second is mental contribution. So physical contribution was taken by machines in 1920. Now AI has taken the mental contribution as well. So the larger question to me is that what is the purpose of human life now? Because whatever we are capable of, the machines are doing it already and probably better. They don't sleep, they don't eat, they don't go for sick leaves, paternity leaves. So, so yeah, we are in for tough fight. Uh, and the thing, the relationship is what will keep people going for some time.
It's interesting because I really don't know what is the purpose of life. But I think relationship can really be one of the purposes for life, I think.
With or without AI, purpose of life is never clear.
Yeah, true.
It's like a blank question paper where you're not told the question, but you have to give the right answers.
Interesting. Okay, we got three more. Lakshmi, Matthews, and Ladan. Do anyone want to talk? Like, we got like 5 more minutes. You can introduce yourself. We can connect on LinkedIn.
Hi. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I can be. Oh, yeah. Hi, sorry, I joined late. I missed the first half of the session, so I do apologize. So should I introduce myself and what I'm doing? I think for me personally, this session was quite interesting just because what I'm doing, I'm developing an app, and it's obviously AI plays a big part in helping me build that. But I just wanted to see how I can learn from the AI side of things and whether or not how useful it can be for me and what I'm working on at the moment. So, but I'll be watching the recorded session because I missed most of it, but I'm looking forward to the session.
And what are you building, Ladan?
So it's
What?
like it's a social app that connects parents with childcare providers, but more of a social app. So we're in the development stage, and at the moment it's a web app, but hopefully I'll be looking for funding to develop it into an actual app. So a lot of the prototype and the wireframe is being done by AI at the moment. So a lot of our work is being done through AI. So it's been very cost effective.
Okay, and are you building your relationship with your clients? Like, because it is so important that you know who you are selling to.
Yes, we are. And from that aspect, things are going well for us. But for us, it's just like more trying to understand the AI side of things, what are the pros, what are the cons? Of course, we use AI as a tool to support us, but we don't fully rely on AI as well.
Got it. Okay. Good luck, Ladun, and stay connect on LinkedIn. Like Rohini, can you just
I
at least
yeah, I already
share the list of participants so that we can all connect on LinkedIn, and so that we remember each other, and if there is anything which we can do for each other, I think we should do that.
what I did is
Absolutely.
I already posted the LinkedIn links in the chat of mine and Umesh, so you can just go and click on it. That would be great.
Yeah.
I also can share the. I don't know. I don't have LinkedIn. I guess maybe I have to check. Probably I will have attendees LinkedIn's as well. Usually I get only emails. So I have to check. If I have, I'll send the invites separately.
Sure.
And we are about time. Vikas' hand is up. Please, Vikas, go ahead.
Yeah. So I was just offering this to Larry. So over the period of me building various things using AI, I have built a framework how you can best use AI to build applications. So if you want, I can share that with you so that your application is built.
Because your last line was not clear.
So if you want, I can share that framework with you so that you can build your app in a more effective way.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's great, Vikas. Yeah. Yeah, Ladan, you should connect with Vikas. Maybe you can share the best practices and.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Perfect. We are almost on time. I really appreciate everyone joining, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Umesh.
Thank you.
Bye. Cheers. Take care.